I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. Big news out of Arizona. We can now officially project that Katie Hobbs will go on to become the next governor of Arizona, defeating the MAGA extremist, the radical, the election-denying Kari Lake. This was a big one, folks. The full repudiation of MAGA extremism in these midterm elections is now complete with the defeat of Kari Lake. Look, Kari Lake represented one of the most, if not the most dangerous candidate who was running for office during this midterm election cycle. There was a lot of dangerous candidates endorsed by Trump, but the idea of Kari Lake, whose principal position was to overthrow the 2020 elections and to use the instrumentalities of the government to become the people's worst nightmare, to become everyone's worst nightmare other than to Donald Trump and the cult, was something that was very worrisome. She is someone who did not support our democracy, who was pro-insurrection. Here, let me just play this clip for you leading up to the midterm elections of Kari Lake telling the media that she's going to win and win 2 terms and be the media's worst nightmare. Here, play this clip.
Who are you? Chris Van Cleave from CBS News. I want to just follow up on his question, if I may. If Donald Trump announces, as expected, to be president and you win the governorship of Arizona, you're likely to be talked about as a VP candidate. Do you plan to serve your entire term in Arizona, or are you open to being the VP?
Are you new covering this race? Because we've talked about this before. We've talked about this. I've answered these questions. I am going to not only be the governor of Arizona for 4 years, I'm going to do 2 terms. I'm going to be your worst freaking nightmare for 8 years. And we will reform the media as well. We're going to make you guys into journalists again. So get ready. It's going to be a fun 8 years. I can't wait to be working with you guys for 8 years.
For the people who are watching.
And while the ballots were being counted, Kari Lake was spreading conspiracies and lies. And look, here's a clip of an interview she did the other day while ballots were still being counted, saying that these people didn't vote for Katie Hobbs. Well, guess what? Yes, they did. And she calls the state of Arizona and this country a banana republic. Stop defaming our great country. It is despicable, but the voters have spoken. Here, play this clip of Kari Lake.
This is just an embarrassment, and the people of Arizona are sick and tired of elections being run like we're in some banana republic, and we won't have it anymore. We're going to win this. Everybody in this state knows we're going to win it. I was running against a basement candidate who didn't even campaign, didn't debate, and the people didn't vote for her. There was zero excitement, and this is ridiculous.
And of course, we can't forget that as the ballots were being counted, Kari Lake's supporters were outside in Maricopa County saying that they were requesting the military to step in to redo the elections and that it's fake, complete BS, deranged conspiracy that the voters of Arizona thankfully have rejected. Here, just play this clip of these individuals, these MAGA extremists.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day.
I want all of you to say a prayer right now. We the people are requesting military step in and redo our election. It was fake and false. It's full. Our government is full of corrupt people.
This is how love rules.
And here's your new governor-elect, Katie Hobbs. Here's a photo of Katie Hobbs. And look, here's an interview of Katie Hobbs that basically saying, look, election deniers like Kari Lake who refuse to accept the will of the voters are a danger to our fundamental freedoms. From the outset, Katie Hobbs said, make no mistake, democracy is on the ballot in November. Here, play this interview that she did recently with MSNBC. Play the clip.
Madam Secretary, thank you so much for joining us. As Arizona Secretary of State, you watched many Republicans in your state and really around the country try to overturn the election results there. Would you trust a Republican governor to do the right thing in 2024 if they were in power?
Well, certainly, if you look at things that Kari Lake has said over and over again about Donald Trump's big lie from 2020, she's been a super fan from day one. And what she's saying now about the 2024 election, she's refused to say whether or not she would certify those results. And so this is very concerning. I think the Reform Act is an important first step, but clearly we need to do more. And working to make sure that these election deniers aren't elected into these positions is probably the first step there. And folks can join me in that at
You've obviously had a front row seat to Arizona's election fraud, and that's certainly something that you've called it. What changes would you like to see made to the Electoral Count Act based on what you have witnessed up front to ensure the integrity of the vote in states like Arizona and elsewhere across the country?
Well, as I said, I think the act is a very good first step, but I share Mark Elias's concerns about it and the loopholes that it's leaving. And so what's clear across the country and in Arizona, where you have folks like Kari Lake running, is that democracy is on the ballot. And we need to ensure that we're working to elect governors who will uphold the will of the voters rather than uphold the will of a former president who doesn't like the outcome of the result.
And there you have it, folks. A big win for democracy, a big win for the state of Arizona. Kari Lake has been defeated. MAGA extremism has been repudiated. A great day for democracy. Congratulations, Governor-elect Katie Hobbs. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button right now. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers. Thanks to you. Also, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Consider becoming a patron over there. Lots of great exclusive content, but most importantly, we're not funded by any outside investors. We're purely fueled by you. So if you can help out, check it out. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. I'm Ben Meiselas.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.